United Nations passes a new resolution in response to terrorism. I'm Miranda. This story tops your Newsmax Now update.
The draft resolution has been adopted unanimously as Resolution 2178, dated 2014.
That resolution proposed by President Obama calls for countries to prosecute nationals who fund terror organizations or travel abroad to fight alongside terrorists. France confirms the killing of a French hostage in Algeria. The terrorist group, which is an ally of ISIS, beheaded the French national in response to airstrikes in Iraq. The Obama administration says this latest beheading is, quote, another horrific action that is affront to all of humanity. And this is video of a military operation that killed 2 Palestinians suspected of kidnapping and murdering 3 Israeli teens back in June, you may recall. What we're seeing here is Israeli special forces. You can see them storming into a building in the West Bank where the suspects were hiding. The 2 men were killed in yesterday's gunfight. The killing of 3 Israeli teens this summer set off, as you can remember, a chain of events that led to the 50-day Gaza war. And back here in the U.S., protests returned to Ferguson, Missouri. A large crowd of demonstrators took to the streets late last night. You can see them right here after a makeshift memorial for Michael Brown was burned. The unarmed 18-year-old died after a police officer shot him last month, causing much racial outrage. Highway Patrol Captain Ron Johnson, who once vowed to restore peace to the St. Louis suburb, spoke about last night's demonstrations.
At around 12:15 this morning, unpeaceful individuals began to flash lights in the eyes of law enforcement, began to shout threatening remarks as they continued through the night about shooting police, burning down the town.
And the NFL Players Association begins its own probe into the way the league handled the Ray Rice domestic violence case. The union says it's retained a former federal prosecutor to conduct the investigation. Rice received a 2-game suspension for punching his then-fiancée at an Atlantic City elevator. Rice was later released by his team and suspended indefinitely by the NFL. The former Baltimore Ravens running back is appealing that suspension. And a grand jury in New York rules not to charge 3-time NASCAR champion Tony Stewart with the death of a fellow driver. Stewart's race car hit and killed Kevin Ward Jr. during a race in upstate New York last month. An Ontario County District Attorney says the victim was under the influence of marijuana the night of the accident. I'm Miranda. That was your latest Newsmax Now update.